Well, hello everybody, Dave here, and it's a beautiful Labor Day. If you notice, this is not sweat. I've been swimming all day in my backyard in my pool, enjoying my Labor Day. I'm off today, but one of the things I wanted to talk about, the reason I'm making this video today is because I wanted to talk about BRICS. And I've been seeing a lot on social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, people making these videos about BRICS, and everybody's like worried like it's going to destroy the US economy. So I just want to make this video and use common sense and show you how BRICS is nothing for the United States to worry about. Okay, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now there are a few other countries that have joined it, but that's the main name of it, BRICS. And so people think that this BRICS is going to destroy the US dollar, it's going to do all these things. But what I think is really interesting is because I'm almost 50, I remember very vividly in the late 90s and the early 2000s when the euro came on the scene. So if you don't know what the euro is, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the European Union was created. And that was all of Europe. So it was like Germany, Italy, Portugal, France, Great Britain, Belgium, Greece. All of these European countries got together and created a new currency. And I remember when this happened, even back then people were like, oh, it's going to destroy the US economy, it's going to take away from the dollar and all this stuff. And that never happened. And that's why I think it's funny why everybody's worried about BRICS. Because if you look at these countries that are part of BRICS, like Brazil, do you think if the European Union, who has much richer countries than the BRICS nations, the euro couldn't overtake the dollar? Do you think BRICS is going to overtake the dollar? Look at Brazil, for example. I live in Texas. Texas has a larger GDP than the country Brazil. What is the last thing that you bought from Brazil? What, soccer balls, coffee, cocaine? It's embarrassing. South Africa is another country. What is their exports? Nothing. Their country is poor. If you look at all of Africa, there's not a country in the continent of Africa. I don't care which one you think about. Libya, Congo, Egypt, Somalia, Tanzania, Ethiopia, any of those countries that has any type of GDP that can even rival the United States. So you think South Africa is going to be able to do something to the United States? What comes out of South Africa? Nothing. Africa is a poor ass continent. The countries are poor. It's always strife and civil war. It's all Muslim religious fanaticism. India is another country. You know, what does India export? What, spices? India, 90% of the population lives in severe poverty. Their population is over 1 billion people. They're suffering right now because of climate change. When the monsoons don't come, their food. India is a poor country. Do you think India is going to overtake the United States? Let's look at China. Now, I know people get afraid of China, but China has screwed themselves. For decades upon decades, China had this one-child policy because their population was so high. But now that one-child policy has come to stab them in the back, because if you look at age statistics in China, the majority of the population is over the age of 50. They have more people old than they have young. So because of their one-child policy, they screwed themselves, because in the next 50 to 100 years, their economy is actually going to go down because they're not going to have enough workers. Like, one of the reasons why China wants to take Taiwan is they don't care about Taiwan. They don't care about their sovereignty. What they care about is all the computer chips that are made in Taiwan. And that's what China wants. They want those valuable computer chips. So they know in order to keep their economy afloat, they need to take Taiwan and control those computer chips production to the world. Look at COVID. When COVID happened and everything was shut down, China's economy dropped like a rock because when they couldn't sell to the rest of the world, that's all they do is they just produce a bunch of plastic crap. And when they couldn't do that during COVID, they were dead. And then Russia, look at Russia. Ever since the Ukrainian war has started, the ruble has dropped 90% of its value. Russia, the only export that Russia has is oil. And with much of the Western world going green, and the rise of green technology, Russia, and especially Saudi Arabia, because what does Saudi Arabia produce? Nothing but oil. If the world moves away from oil, they're dead. Saudi Arabia is a desert. If it wasn't for oil, they wouldn't be nothing more than Afghanistan. They'd be a poor-ass country with nothing. And so what these countries are trying to do, what BRICS is they want to create their own currency to number one, they see the change in world. They see climate change. They see that countries are moving away from oil. So they're like, well, we got to protect ourselves. So we need to create our own currency so we can prop up our economies, because really we don't have anything else to sell. If the United States started producing its own energy, Saudi Arabia would go broke because we buy the majority of their oil. But if the United States started producing its own oil and natural gas and became energy independent, Saudi Arabia would be screwed. And that's what I think's funny. Like, I hear this conspiracy theory, and I don't know where it came from, but it's got to be some QAnon or sovereign citizen, because the same people that bring it up also talk about the corporation, and that's a sovereign citizen thing and all this different stuff. But they're saying that the new BRICS currency is going to be worth 55. So it's going to take 55 US dollars to make one BRICS. Come on, people. Let's use common sense. The United States has the most powerful military in the world. The United States has the richest economy in the world. That would be like look at Mexico. It takes about 50 to 70 pesos to make $1. Are you telling me countries like South America, Brazil, India, their currency is going to be so valuable that it's going to be $55 to one BRICS? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any economical sense. It's ridiculous. It's just conspiracy theories. This is all QAnon, sovereign citizen, BS talk. Like, when you actually break it down and you look at these countries and their GDPs, we have states. Like I said, Texas GDP is bigger than Brazil. California bigger than Brazil and South Africa combined. And China, with their one-child policy, their economy's going down. Russia's ruble is dropped dramatically. Saudi Arabia, if they didn't have oil to sell, they wouldn't have anything else. So this BRICS thing it's a lie. All of this ties into this Nasera Jacera stuff that people believe. I hear it all the time, this rainbow currency backed by gold and all this stuff. And it's a pipe dream. It's a conspiracy theory. If you really believe that Brazil, South Africa, India are going to overtake the United States, you're living in a fantasy world. Like, if Russia didn't have nuclear missiles, the United States could destroy them, because look what Ukraine has done to them. The United States could destroy Russia in probably less than a year if they didn't have nukes. Their ruble is in the toilet. So don't believe any of this BRICS nonsense. It's the same talk. Just go back and read about the euro when the euro began. And like I said, the European countries, their economies are so much stronger than the BRICS nations' economies. And if the euro couldn't overtake the dollar, how is this BRICS currency going to overtake the dollar? You're living in a fantasy land. It's like all these people that push this, they always talk about being red pill and awake, and they're actually stupid because they don't know how the world works. They don't know how economies work. They don't know anything. And I just ask you, use common sense. Look at the exports of Brazil, South Africa, and India, and just say, what do these countries export? How are they going to overtake the dollar? What do you get from Brazil? What do you get from South Africa? What do you get from India? Now, we can argue and say China does give a lot to the United States. But, like I said, the one-child policy screwed China. Russia, really its only export is maybe grain and oil. But with the sanctions on them, go look it up. The ruble is tanking. And Saudi Arabia, if it wasn't for oil, Saudi Arabia wouldn't have nothing. So I just think it's hilarious that all these people are so worried about BRICS, and it's going to be backed by gold. It's going to be a rainbow currency, and it's a joke. It's a joke. It's no more scary than the euro was scary. And like I said, the European countries, their economies are way stronger than the BRICS nations. And also, look at these BRICS nations. China, India, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. They're all either led by authoritarian leaders or they're crappy little shithole countries. Do you think these countries are going to be able to agree on everything? It's a pipe dream. The European countries, which are more richer and civilized, they couldn't even agree. That's why Brexit happened and England left the European Union. So you're telling me that all these countries that are led by strong men, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, you think they're all going to be able to cooperate and keep their economy together with this BRICS bullshit? You're living in a fantasy land. Don't be scared of BRICS. It's a joke. Nothing's going to happen to the US dollar. Maybe in 50 to 100 years, things will change. But I'm telling you right now, and especially with climate change, the way Saudi Arabia, the way India and Brazil are going to be affected by that, their economies are nothing. They're dead in the water. So don't worry about BRICS, and don't fall into all this conspiracy theories, because when you look at it logically and use common sense, what people are saying is stupid. It's stupid. It makes no sense. And most of these people that are putting out TikTok videos or Facebook posts or Twitter crap, they don't have economic degrees. They work at Walmart or they work at, McDonald's or whatever. And they think they know a lot of stuff because they watch videos on Rumble. They don't know shit. It's not happening. So just use common sense. And remember, BRICS is bullshit. This is Dave, Zoe Zizzles. Make sure to like and subscribe.